the first.
record first. Okay. Yeah, so we'll just start with, the first questions and take it from there.
Okay, wonderful.
So, can you tell us your name and what you do for a living?
I'm Nina Wingfield. I'm retired from the Collierville Animal Shelter after 18 years. I now run the SPCA of Memphis. I'm president and director of outreach programs, and that's what I'm doing right now. So I'm still very active with animal issues.
Okay. Amy?
I am Amy Lear. I actually am a certified professional dog trainer. So I own my own company and I work with a local vet's office. I've been a certified trainer since 2009. Prior to that, I was pharmaceutical sales with a college degree, left the corporate world to dress like this and play with dogs.
Very well. I like it.
Yes.
I like it. Okay. Uh, we'll start with Nina. Can you tell us how you became involved with Karen?
Well, when the warden called, I'm sorry, I cannot remember his name at the time. It was at the Mark Luttrell's Women Correctional Center. He called the Collierville Animal Shelter and asked us to take the program over from the Humane Society. I went in, and Karen was there from day one. And that was, I guess, in about 2005. My dates may be a little off, but I remember Karen. She was an absolutely beautiful young lady. And I did not ask why they were in the program because it really didn't matter to me. My my whole thing was, do you love animals and are you going to make this program successful? And I was at that time I was able to interview every applicant for the prison dog program. And we selected Karen to be one of those because of her desire to help animals.
Right. Amy?
Well, like Nina said, I got involved with the program maybe 2012, 13. Again, I'm getting older and I can't remember dates, but
Join the
Karen was
club.
there. Yeah, exactly. Karen was part of the team the entire time I was there. So she definitely stood out to me because there was some that we lost, some that quit, but Karen was always stable and she was always the one who we really could count on with the dogs.
Right. And you guys could talk about this amongst yourselves too, as well as me. But what were your impressions of Karen as a person, her character, her ethics, etc.?
Well, I'll tell you what, in a nutshell, because of her character and um, because she was a wonderful person and her ethics, we usually gave her the hard cases. We gave her the dogs that we were real concerned about, that might have aggression issues, because we felt that she could really help the dogs better than any other team.
Wow.
So I feel like, in my opinion, yeah, she was stable. Um, even her demeanor, she was just always on point. She was her, there was no fluctuation in her attitude or personality. She was who she was, and it was a stable, very ethical, respectful young lady.
I'll tell you, the times that we spent with her, really, it was hard for me to even wonder why they were in the prison. And when I would leave, she had a real calming effect about her. And when I would leave, I would feel like a better person too. It was kind of strange,
Yeah, she
because
did.
of her
She had,
calming
yeah,
effect.
she really had a good aura about her. I mean, again, We didn't ask why they were there. But you could just tell the sincere people. And I never had a problem with her ever. She was always, there was never a question in my mind, is there going to be a problem, or what am I going to get from her today? Because it was always Karen. And, to me, she was a very good dog trainer, a good person to us.
And very prepared.
Mhm.
When we would come, she would have the questions that she needed to ask. She and several of the other girls did it upon themselves to take the animal care technician training online. And she paid for that through her own financial source. We don't know where that came from, but she took that training, which really made us feel like, okay, you're in this program to succeed.
Fantastic.
And I couldn't say that about every one of our prisoners, about the willingness to help.
Some of them had to be encouraged and goaded, but not Karen.
Oh, most definitely.
Right.
And still sometimes that didn't work.
Yes.
But Karen, we could count on her.
Yeah, and the success really depended on also the wardens that we had. There
And
were
the
some
guards.
and the guards
Mhm.
that were there, that the guards that were there. Yes, it was a program where it gave the girls certain liberties, and some of the prisoners took advantage of those liberties. If I'm in the program, then, hey, I don't have to work as hard. And so
we knew she was in it for the dogs. Others
Yes.
maybe get in it to get outside at midnight, but she was in it for the dogs.
Marvelous. Wow. Well, so then I guess I don't have to ask about your impressions of her as a professional and a dog person, because you just told me she was good with the dogs and everything.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
Do you see Karen as a potentially productive citizen and useful member of society if released?
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely. When I was working for Collierville, I told them, if any of you all get out while I'm still director of the shelter, I want you to come work for me. I mean, I wanted them to work for me because I knew they would be hard workers. I knew Karen would do whatever she needed to do for the dog to succeed. And like I said, we gave her the hard cases.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I had something to add to that. Oh, I mean, I could see her being a good member of society when I worked with her back in 2012. So I can only imagine what she's willing and capable of now.
Yeah.
And like Nina said, I would welcome her to work with me. I can't say that I told everybody come work with me, but I would definitely have her work with me.
Okay. So in other words, you definitely feel Karen would have a successful future as a trainer of service and therapy dogs.
Yes, and whatever I could do to help, I would do whatever I need to help.
Well, there was one dog, and I may be misspeaking here, but I think there were several dogs that she and her partner would tell us this would be a good service dog because he's hitting on people that have low blood sugar or that might have seizures, and their dog, they really did a lot of research about the service animals, and what we would get them, we would provide them with books too about that. And yeah, that would be wonderful. I would write a reference wherever she wants to go.
I remember Karen doing, and who was her partner? I liked her too. Gosh, I can't remember.
It was Cassie or Ginger.
There was another one though that moved to Nashville that I liked her. But anyway,
Do you know who her partner is?
I remember Ginger Turnmeyer. I remember her. I don't, Cassie
Okay.
Janikowski might have been.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm thinking too. And they got they they got one of the hard dogs that we eventually had to euthanize,
Oh,
but they tried so hard because um, we just couldn't correct the unpredictable aggression issues that kept arising. And they worked. I'll never forget that phone call that I got, and I had to come get the dog. And they said it's time because they didn't want to give up. But it was definitely they were using good judgment decisions on the dog.
And like I wanted to say, they did a lot of task training with the dogs. Tasks meaning what can the dog do for a person with disabilities. They were big on having the dog, figure out things and maybe open up a file cabinet or just help for mobility issues. So they were, I would say, ahead of their time.
Mm-hmm.
They were doing stuff that I was like, how did you do that? Right. And I'm a professional dog trainer. I know. So I learned from them. They learned from me. So yeah.
I would love for her to be in the field so I can send some of these wonderful dogs that we see here in the Mid-South that could benefit from a good special needs therapy dog.
I would send her some aggressive cases too, because she was good with that. And I don't like those.
she does manage to keep calm under fire.
She's so
She does, yeah,
calm. I can't, there's never a time where she lost her cool, ever.
no.
She's not very, Karen, she's not very effusive about things, but she was definitely effusive about when I said you guys would be getting interviewed. She just, you know, usually
Oh,
like, oh, nice. But she was like, oh, really? She was so
oh,
happy.
I love
No,
that.
that
Love that.
it was a sad day when they said that the prison was going to move to Lauderdale County.
Uh,
A sad day. And I just couldn't make that hour trip.
yeah.
But I turned the program over to a wonderful group in that area. And of course, she's not in the program still, I don't think. Um, yeah, it changed. The program changed when it left here.
She likes the way you guys did it. The way it's done right now, she doesn't agree with some of it on certain ethical points. She just doesn't like it. She wants to start her own in there actually, and she's actually commissioned them and they're thinking about it. So we're hoping they move on this. They're dragging their feet, they're taking their time, but she really wants to emphasize the whole service and therapy animals and stuff like that. She wants to start her own in there. She really wants to be
Yeah.
involved with dogs again. She's sick. She misses it. She's so heart sick, but she just can't cross that ethical line with these people the way they're doing. She just doesn't agree. She didn't get specific with me because she doesn't trash talk.
No.
Said
No,
there's
she
certain things
doesn't.
I don't agree with. It's different than the way that Amy and Nina and we did things. We just did things different.
And I hear that through Ginger. I'm still friends with Ginger. We talk on the phone, and Cassie, and I hear those things about the program, and it really makes me sad because it was so successful, so successful. You asked about her ethics and it being a good part of the community. I'll never forget when we gave them the bottle babies, and you talk about um, a wonderful experience with the prisoners. I mean, some of them had never had children, and so these babies were their children. And then I had some prisoners that said, I can't do it. It's too much work. But we never got that from Karen.
Yeah. Karen would have done them all, but we were like, you need to sleep. So
Yeah.
you
You can only have
Yeah.
two.
need to
Not,
share.
not the whole litter.
You had to rein her in, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I remember you had a bunch of dogs, little puppies. I think they all died from distemper or something like that. Whole group of them died of distemper, and it was just this heart.
No, that wasn't us.
Oh, wasn't you guys? Okay, maybe that was after you guys.
Well, I will tell you, it might have been when the Humane Society had the program,
It was probably
but we were real
it was before
careful.
us.
I mean, I will tell you, I ran the best animal shelter in the Mid-South, Collierville. And we were very careful about putting the dogs in there that were healthy. We did not want, and we had heard the Humane Society had some issues with dogs that weren't healthy going in. And That wasn't us. We never had any distempered puppies. But that might have been Lauderdale County too.
Yeah.
It was either before or after.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've just never heard her. I mean, the only time I've ever heard her that crushed is when her dad died. You know what I mean? And she was just absolutely devastated. I mean, it was just like, wow. I mean, her heart's never. It surprises you even when it's not a surprise. You know what I mean? Her heart.
Oh yeah.
So her dad died while she was incarcerated?
Yeah, yeah. It was about 6 years ago. Just cancer.
Yeah, that was definitely Nashville then.
Yeah.
It wasn't us.
Yeah, yeah. Very, very. Yeah, that was rough. But yeah, she still talks about dogs. I mean, it just kills her to see the people in the Paws program, and she sees them with their dogs, and she just wants to be part of it so bad, but she won't do
Yeah.
it until it's the way did it with you guys.
Well, and that's ethics.
Well,
That's who
and
she is.
that was the trainer. They have complained about there was a man trainer that went in there, and when Amy and I would go in, I mean, we'd hug on the girls, and they were our friends, and we'd talk about, girl things. I mean, you just can't get that commitment with a guy.
Right.
We were also, though, we're positive and we're force-free trainers. So we're very positive with the dogs. There's no adversive training. There's no training by dominance or fear. So I'm not sure if that might be something's happening. But we train that with the dogs, but we also do that with people too. We're positive, force-free. We're obviously we're force-free, but it was more of a collaboration. We were all in it together. So, but I think if she gets out, she can start her own program, and maybe she'll have a chance to start before she gets out. But we need her. We need her out here. We have a lot of dogs that need help.
I
And
told
we're
her she's
there for her when she gets out.
oh,
We're
beautiful.
there for her when she gets out. She can call on us if she needs anything.
What did you tell her? You started to say something.
Oh, I told her if she starts a business, she should call it Caring Howl, like a dog howling. Caring Howl.
That is, I love it.
I thought it was clever.
She's
Yeah.
already ready.
Yeah,
That's
Caring
good.
Howl. There
I
you
should have,
go.
yeah, I
Yeah.
should have talked to you before I named my business. That's good.
Well, when do you think it's possible for her to be released?
Well, she just filed for clemency 2 weeks ago. They just received it. It depends on Bill Lee. He's very stringent in certain ways, but he's also shown, and here's what they said, what some of the legal experts told me, he's also shown that he's not afraid of pissing people off. So if he pardoned her, it might piss people off, but he's the type of guy who doesn't care. Too bad. It's my call. So he might do it. He's aware of her case, and we're going to get this video in front of him. That's the thing.
Good.
It takes videos. I mean, look at the Menendez brothers. They're about to release those two guys because of a video that was made, and the West
Yeah.
Memphis Three, same thing. Videos, videos, videos. It's all about documentaries. It's all about advocating, like what you guys are saying. It's just, and everybody I've talked to, even the people that didn't like Karen when she was a teenager, rebellious teenager, I've said, yeah, but you really think that she murdered? And they're like, no, not her.
Yeah.
Didn't have a
Yeah.
bone in her body, just you give somebody a rookie lawyer who's never worked a murder case before, and he never has, and he never did again, in charge of a minor in a high pressure, and the guy folded like a lawn chair. They basically held a gun to the heads of all the other defendants and said, sign that plea bargain, Karen, or we're going to kill your friends. That's a threat. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't do that. So it's terrible what happened.
No.
Do you think, I'm friends with Mark Norris, one of the senators. Do you think that we should contact some of our senators and
Please. Yeah.
talk to Bill Lee about that?
That would be great.
Yeah.
If you can wait until we get this video together, then I can send you the link to send to them, because if they have something tangible, it helps.
Yes.
That would be best. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're putting
Because that was the problem.
Go ahead.
That was the problem before. I knew the governor would be able, for Bill Lee, the governor would be able to, make some pardons. And we invited him to the program, but he never came, because this is it was a state facility.
Yeah.
So it was his facility. So we were disappointed that he never wanted to come see the program.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that would have really shined a light on things. And and they released Centoya Brown, who was in the same prison, and she actually pulled the trigger. And Karen was just there. She had
Right, right.
Yeah.
no gunshot residue on her. I mean, if you look at the facts, it's like this they gave life without parole to a scared kid for being a scared kid.
Yeah.
Right.
Guilty by association.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
you have that security guard, the police officer in Florida a few years ago, who had a gun and was trained, who didn't act when the school shooter started. He sat there and, basically hid. This is a trained professional. What do we expect from a troubled teen with a history of poor coping skills and a
Yeah.
drug problem? She froze.
Yeah.
She couldn't
Yeah.
save the day.
No.
It's really just unbelievable. Someone told me only in Greene County could this happen. Someone told me who lives there. He said, only in Greene County could this happen. There's no
Yeah.
sane jury on earth that finds her guilty. And the DA knew that too, and that's why he did the plea bargain, because he knew they wouldn't find her guilty. He said, but I needed to get all those satanic killers. Give me a break. That's ridiculous.
Well, we never felt threatened or unsafe with any of the girls in our program.
Yeah.
But I can see how the program would have changed at another prison, because I don't think, see, we interviewed all the girls.
Mhm.
We interviewed anybody that was interested in the program, and the ones that we didn't pick got upset, but we said, well, maybe you can be a helper with the program, and if anybody drops out, then we can get you in. But nobody really dropped out unless they were getting out.
Mhm.
So, I mean, because we ran a very well-oiled program.
I think we had to ask two to leave, one or two. There's a couple in my mind. But
Well, I think they agreed, though,
right.
because they were causing some problems, just like it's a bunch of girls together.
Right. That have been locked up since, gosh, early teenage. I mean,
Yeah.
they grew up there.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what's so sad. Most of the prisoners we had really and truly went in as teenagers.
Yeah.
They were young
Mhm.
women.
uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Your program really
But
gave
we
them
would
a
love
reason.
to work. We would just know that. I've been doing this for 40 years in the Mid-South, and she's a wonderful young woman, and her character, I would hire her yesterday.
Great.
Yes.
That is a perfect thing to end this on, because it's going to be cutting us off in a few minutes. So I'll stop the recording. Well, I'll keep the recording going until it's over. But wow. This might make her cry when she sees this and hears this.
Well,
Well, we're proud of her. She needs to know that.
yeah.
She when Nina approached me and she was like, "It's Karen," and I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's Karen." It was just the one that we liked her so much. I mean, there were quite a few, but Karen stood out. I mean, I could be at home doing nothing right now, but I'm here for Karen. So I could be working.
She was constant.
Mhm.
Constant. We knew exactly what we were going to get from her.
Yeah, she called
And
certain
what
people.
she would bring,
Go ahead.
to the table.
Right.
And we knew that she wouldn't balk at getting, there were some that balked at getting certain dogs. They wanted, the easy dogs, or it was Karen and Ginger, or Cassie at the time, saying, we want the hardest ones, Nina.
Wow.
We want the ones that really need help.
That's dedication.
So we gave them the hardest ones.
That's dedication.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, she talks about, it's funny because she talks about, that's one of the things she doesn't like in a person, in a worker, a coworker, someone who is, she called it flippy. flippy with their moods, you know what I mean? And just like the
Mhm.
inconsistency. It's like, who am I going to be dealing with today? Are you going to be your good self or your bad self? She didn't want that as a professional. She wanted consistency. Check
Mhm.
in your bad mood at the door. You know, we're
Mhm.
on the playing field now. We need to be professional. So I thought that was great. I said to her
Yes.
once, are you sure you're not a guy? You're not very flippy, Karen.
No.
Well, I have to say now, and she will correct me because they remember all the dogs that they had, but I think they had Daisy,
I think
which
we
is
had
a
that.
yellow lab that I put in, and after the training, uh, we took it down to the Baddour Center, which is a special needs housing for Down syndrome adults. And Daisy lived there the rest of her life as a therapy dog for the Down syndrome adults residents,
Wow.
and
Wow.
they loved Daisy. And she was a problem. She was a problem dog, and they really did a wonderful job on her.
Wow. That's fantastic. Um,
I remember something real quick. So her as a leader, she was a silent leader, but she was a leader. Because I remember going in, and if there was a dog that needed a little extra, or she saw one of the newer teams not doing exactly what would be the best for the dog, she would bring it to my attention. So then we could communicate, obviously, as a whole group and talk about specifics because she wasn't just in it for the dog she was working with. She took ownership of all the dogs in her heart. So I like that too. I like that. She helped me.
And we would gather in the library. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
would bring their
I'm in the
dogs,
library.
and we would sit there and have group discussions. And you're right,
Mm-hmm.
she would gently
Gently.
bring those
Ethical.
problems.
Ethical.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
she'd make a good boss
she would make a good boss.
Hmm.
of
She would make a
Of
good boss.
caring Howell.
Yes. You got it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, this has been wonderful, and it's been great talking to you both. I hope if I ever come down there, I get to meet you both. You know, it'd be great.
Yes, that would be wonderful.
That'd be great. And just, people who
Yeah.
understand her and get to know her. Because, the reason this has been able to allowed to go on, all this nonsense with her case, is because they're doing it in the shadows. As long as they keep it out of the media, they're able to continue on with their nonsense about this natural born killer's killing spree. They all went on. I don't know how much you've read about Karen's case, but it's just they've done all these documentaries, and I call them out on it every time. I always go online and call them out. Why did you say this when the evidence clearly shows otherwise? Oh, they all took a turn
Mhm.
shooting. I'm like, well, then how come there was no gunshot residue on her clothes? Here's the GSR report. I show it to them. Now, if they
Yeah.
lied to you about that, what else did they lie to you about? Why don't you investigate instead of taking what you see on the internet from profiteers who have a vested interest in getting you to believe something? You know,
Right.
it,
Right.
it's just so
It makes you
unfair.
wonder who else is in prison right now in the same situation, It's just it's a scary thought. It's very scary. Especially I have a 21-year-old and an 18-year-old. And when I first started this, my kids were young and I was like, you are guilty by association. You better watch your P's and Q's, get out of situations if it looks like it's going bad. But even then, they can try to pull you back in. So it is scary that she's been in this long.
Yeah. I mean, I used to work with troubled teens at psychiatric hospitals, and I'm telling you, all it takes is one sociopath to pull a whole bunch of good kids down. They don't even know what it
Yeah.
is. And I couldn't reveal to the group about this person's record because of confidentiality, but I would just say, trust me, do not get it. And sure enough, they take a riot would happen, something, and the sociopath would take them all down.
Yeah.
It's all it
No,
takes.
yes. It's scary.
Yeah, it is.
Um, do you have her number, her prison number?
Yeah. It's do you have a pen?
Yeah.
It's 288 305.
305.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want her, do you do email? You do email. She's on JPay. You can email her if you want to contact her through JPay. Are you familiar?
No, I'm not. I'm not familiar. I'm going to tell you, I'm real limited on my time on email. I try not to do a lot of stuff on email. But the reason why I want to, when I talk to Mark Norris, and I may contact Marsha Blackburn too, which is she's a congresswoman, isn't she?
Mhm.
Yeah, congresswoman. She's reapplying for that. She's up for re-election. I wanted her number so we're not making any mistakes. And Lauderdale, is it Lauderdale, West Tennessee, Lauderdale County? Is that what it's called, the prison?
WTRC. It's West Tennessee like Rehabilitation Center, I think. If you just put WTRC, it's in Henning. It's just north of
WTR,
Memphis in Henning. WTRC.
WTRC.
Yeah,
Okay.
if you Google that WTRC Henning, it'll give you all the information. But
That's where she was from.
Women's
Yeah.
Therapy something center. I don't know. They give it some fancy name, you know.
And it's Henning? It's not?
Henning. It's in Henning, Tennessee. Henning.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Of course,
If
I
you
can get this information from the group that's got the group that's got the prison program now, but I wanted her number so I could give that to them and have them check that out.
That would be fantastic. She would love that. She really would, because she just doesn't have enough people advocating for her right now because, like I said, it's in the shadows and it's like everyone just believes the false narrative. You know, I mean, her Facebook page has over 2,000 followers now. Some people get it and they're starting to get it more and more, but it's like she just turned 45, guys. We can't keep, she's halfway to 90.
Golly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How old was she when she went in?
16, 15,
17. 17.
17.
Yep. 17.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, they all
Now,
did
is
it.
it the family? Is it the family that's still preventing her? Is it the family that's still preventing her from getting out, or the community?
The community. They're all drinking buddies and golf buddies. I mean, the DAs, the defense attorney, they're all like pals. The plea bargain was just a path of least resistance.
Um,
Hey, big victory. We got all them satanic killers. It's just, it's a small town. It's that good old
yeah.
boy thing going on. The good old boys all working together.
Because I know I actually went to a couple of the parole board hearings, one for Ginger, and the family just did not want her to get out, and she's had some restrictions about even coming back into Tennessee,
Yeah.
which is ridiculous.
I
But
don't think Karen's going to meet that kind of resistance. I don't think, because the truth is slowly coming out. And the Lillelid family lives in Norway anyway. So I don't know that they would be sending advocates over here. And they were Jehovah's Witnesses, and they're all about forgiveness and looking at things differently. So I
sure.
don't think we'll get much blowback from them.
Well, I mean, would they be a good advocate for her if you reached out and said, here's the time?
Maybe not that much.
Yeah, we've tried. They're just kind of quiet about it. They kind of just want to put
Yeah.
it behind them, but it seems like they're not going to get in the way either, which is good. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, okay. We will we'll see if any of this will work.
Sounds great. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. They're about to cut us off, but I appreciate you both.
Okay.
Thanks for doing this for her.
Thank you. Very
Yes,
nice
thank
to
you.
meet you, and
Likewise.
give Karen our best.
Likewise,
Yes.
we'll do. Take care.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
thanks.
Bye.